Hello. Wow. People are waiting for the last minute to hop on. Hello. I just saw most of you girls just a few minutes ago. Well, we definitely can't do anything until Mary hops on, huh? That's Carrie. Hello. 3 minutes. I'm not going to get nervous until 59 minutes past. Then I'll reach out to Mary. Ugh. We had more people on the Mission Possible call than the SWAT call. That's really rare, isn't it? Yeah, there's only 6 of us so far on here. Did you guys like that segment with the quotes? Did it evoke some interesting thoughts? Did it make you feel more normal, like you were part of something that everybody goes through? If you were on the Mission Possible call. There's Mary.
I liked it, but I didn't realize that we were supposed to send the quotes before the meeting. I'm sorry.
Oh gosh, that's okay. That's okay, not a problem. Ooh, Mary, I like your shirt. So pretty. Love it. Okay, so 2 more minutes. So Christina, did you end up having a quote that you posted today?
Yeah, sorry, the baby's teething.
Okay.
She might be overpower my voice. I posted it while we were talking about it because I did have one in mind. I just didn't get a chance to send it.
We can chat about it on Tuesday. Perfect. No worries at all. Okay, I'm going to unmute Mary. I think you're unmuted, Mary.
Okay.
Okay, so we've got 1 minute, Mary, and then I will count down. We'll do this.
Okay.
I see Dolores. Hello.
Oh, yeah.
That's fun. I just saw a bunch of these gals on this other call. I was just on the Mission Possible call.
Uh-huh.
And so they are primed up and ready to rock it, Mary.
Awesome.
So my clock says straight up 6 o'clock. So welcome to SWAT team call Wednesday night. As you know, usually you hear from myself, Lindsay, Shannon, or Nicole Hammondtree. But Nicole is super sick and asked Mary Cahill from our team to lead the call tonight. So I just kind of sat back and got to kind of be like really, really excited for Mary when Nicole was asking her. So Mary, along with a number of us, went to the Brendan Bouchard High Performance Academy this last week. It was all day Thursday, all day Friday, all day Saturday, and then half day Sunday. And when we say all day, it was from 9 a.m. to 7:38 p.m. That's a long, long day. And we all are so geeked up and excited. And he gives you these huge, huge journals. And I think for a reason, because you write so much. I mean, I'm almost through my entire journal. But I wanted to welcome Mary Cahill to lead this call tonight. Mary Cahill is a 3-star Golden Circle 2-star executive. And I think a few of you still maybe don't know what all the stars and the stripes mean, but a 3-star means that Mary has cycled in 1 week's time a total of 30 times in 1 week, 40 times in 1 week, 40 times in 1 week, sorry. I remember, and it's so exciting. And then she's also had 2 people from her personally enrolled team promote to executive alongside her. That's a huge accomplishment, huge, huge, huge. So it's just been an absolute joy watching her. Mary was my college roommate. So we've got some really fun big hair memories together. And I looked back, Mary, we lived together from approximately 1988 to 1990. Did you know that?
I didn't. I wasn't
Yeah.
sure what time frame.
So the big hair days, ladies, we were living together, aquanetting it up together. And we had a little teeny tiny bathroom, but it was really fun. Mary is a mother to 2 fur babies, 2 dachshunds, one named Clarabelle and Daisy May. Yes, Clarabelle and Daisy May. And you'll see Mary out there walking those dogs every single morning, come rain or shine. So we are so honored and so excited to hear what Mary has to say about the Brendan Bouchard High Performance Academy. Take it away, Mary Cahill. Woo!
Well, thank you, Miss Sybil Imel, for that amazing introduction. Yeah, talk about big hair. Look at me now. I'm almost shaved my head off. But I also want to just extend a thank you to Miss Nicole Hammondtree to just sharing with her what an honor it was that she even asked me to do this, and she trusted me enough to do this call with you all. So Nicole, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I just really appreciate it and am so grateful. I also want to thank you all for being here and taking the time out of your busy schedules to just listen and to learn and to grow yourselves. I'm always just so excited to see other women and men, but to come on these calls and see how many people are just so ready to just grow themselves. I just love it. So one of the things that Brendan, amongst many things that Brendan shared with us, is that there are 4 pillars to being a high performer. And I'm just going to share one of those with you tonight, which is psychology. So what he meant by psychology, it's really that mindset or that mind space of where you're at. So one of the questions that I would like to extend to you all is, what is it that motivates you the most? And I would really challenge you all to take some time after this call and really answer that question. But my challenge is this: don't stay at that surface level of answering that question, well, you know, and you're just putting pen to paper and you're just throwing some words down. Really give it some good deep thought. I mean deep thought. Go into your core and really start figuring this stuff out for yourself. I'll tell you, you will grow by leaps and bounds. And the other thing that he shared with us is that when we write, when we answer these questions about our goals, about our dreams, about our ambitions, we need to write with fire, with intensity, with, you know, being extremely purposeful. And we talk about being purposeful, but we need to put that into our answers. And I have to admit, I was one of those people that when, you know, he asked, this was the first day, like in the morning, and he asked a question and I was writing some answers down. But then when he came back and said, okay, were you writing with fire? No, I was not. I was just trying to put some words down on paper so I had an answer. As I think many of us do, right? So just keep that in mind when you write the answers to your dreams, to your goals, and what really motivates you. Write with fire and intensity. And then we all, I think, probably have a main motivation, but one of the ones that I think across the board is that many of us have, if not all of us, is personal freedom. And I'm actually going to read a quote that Brendan shared with all of us, and I'm going to repeat it so that you can all write it down. It really connected with me, and maybe it will or maybe it won't, but it could be something that you could share with your team or your other people. So, personal freedom. The ability to be oneself fully, to do the things that bring you meaning without constriction or conformity. So I'll repeat that. The ability to be oneself fully, to do the things that bring you meaning without constriction or conformity. So one of the things he asked too is that how many of us look at our goals every day? And I think honestly, Sybil was one of them that was able to raise her hand. But you know, we should have dream boards, or we should have these giant Post-it notes that are, you know, stuck to our door so that you are walking past them every day. But where I lacked when he asked this question is, do you feel them? So not only should we be looking at those every day, if it's on your mirror in the bathroom when you're getting ready, or in your office on your door, whatever, just in your, I guess, line of sight somewhere during the day. And then when you read through those, really feel them. Take yourself back to when you wrote those down, okay? And then if you feel like you've lost motivation and you just feel like you're stalling out, you know, it just probably means that you've lost sight of what's important to you. And it's easy enough to reset that. But again, you just need to go deeper than that surface level. So through this process, what I found to be the case for me is that I was underperforming on my clarity, because the statement goes like this, or close to it, is that clarity is directly linked to success. And without clarity, your motivation is drained. And I have to say, I've been guilty of that. I think for me to be, you know, I have those big dreams, I have those big goals, but what I need to really do, I need to get extremely clear on my smaller, attainable goals, so that I can reach that massive goal at the end. And I don't look at it so overwhelming that, okay, I'll do that tomorrow. You know, just keep putting it off and keep putting it off. But I think if we set smaller goals that are attainable every week, every month, that you're going to reach that goal. And it's just one of those things that then you can check off. So that's something that I'm going to do. So he actually broke down motivation under psychology into 3 different categories. And those categories are congruency, connection, and contribution, which I'll break each of them down. So congruency, what he meant by that is your alignment, your integrity, your self, your authentic self, I should say, is that, you know, you need to be intentional of who you are and who you want to be every day. And I have a really good example of this. I had actually earned the first Step Up to 2-Star event that was down in Phoenix, February of this year. And it was the last day, and, you know, David T.S. Wood is standing up front. And at some point during the entire weekend, you know that you're going to be called up. And, you know, hopefully he's given you the tools, or you're learning the tools along the way, that when you get up there, you're not going to vomit. Like, that's what I wanted to do. So I get called up on the 3rd day, and I'm just walking up there like, yeah, I've got this. And then he pretty much is standing there telling me exactly what I needed to be saying or doing. Okay, that's a whole other story, because I got swept up in his blue eyes. So that's a whole other story. But what it was is that I started stumbling. Yeah, Cindy Laser, I know. I'll have to tell you that story. But I started repeating what he was wanting me to share, and I started bumbling my words. And he says, okay, just stop for a minute. And he says, okay, if I was to send you back to your chair right now, what would your self-talk be? And I was standing there thinking, and the first thing that came to my mind is that I should have and could have done better. And he says, okay, you need to appreciate every small achievement that you reach every day. And he says, the fact that you walked from that chair and you came up here on stage and you were just like ready to bust this thing up, you know, you need to celebrate that. And that's probably the better word, is that we need to celebrate every small achievement, because it's those little achievements, right, along the way that get us to our bigger goals. So what he told me is, when he stood behind me and he grabbed my head, and I was melting, okay, that's another story, was he said, Mary, you need to quiet the noise. And he was absolutely right. I was getting in my own way. I wanted to sound so perfect, like these leaders that I see up on stage and I just admire and think, oh, I just want to be flawless. Well, you're not going to start out that way. And Brendan shared that with us this last weekend, of some of his big major mess ups. But that's just it. You have to step out in fear and just do it. You need to push through that, right? So it's okay, so basically just take the time to quiet the noise in your head and just go deeper. and be congruent with who you are. The second one is connection. And so many of you probably still have jobs. And I love the statistic that he shared about this, is that if you have one friend in the workplace, you're 17% more productive if you weren't to have that friend. And so what that was proof to me was that we are people and we are meant to connect. We are made to connect with people. Doesn't mean we have to like everybody, but it certainly means that we need to have people in our life. So there's 3 different groupings of friends. You have old friends, you know, maybe back from high school or when you grew up, and some of those are still maybe your maintenance friends, which is the second category, which may be just those people that you see here and there, whatever. And then you have that group of growth friends. And that's really that group of friends that just support you, encourage you, lift you up, and just really help you become the best version of who you're meant to be, right? So, you know, when we have great friends in our life, life just seems to be better. And we have the opportunity of picking those friends, of who we want to be surrounded by and who we want to engage with, so that, you know, they're not only helping us grow, but we're helping them grow too. And then be present. And that's something that I really want to dive into, because I think it's a pet peeve of mine. And it's something that I'm very intentional of. When I'm sitting in front of somebody, and I don't care if it's for coffee, I don't care if it's sitting on a plane or whatever, when I'm talking to somebody, I want to be present. I don't want to be looking over their shoulder at some good-looking guy that may be walking by, or some other distraction, some child or whatever, and putting my phone down. Or it's not even on the table. It's usually just in my bag. But it's giving my time to that person and being present, because what I truly feel, the way it makes me feel if somebody has their phone and they keep checking their phone, is that I'm not worth their time. So if I don't like to feel that way, I certainly don't want to make somebody else feel that way. So I love that. Just be present. And I love this statement too, as he said, a phone, our cell phones, our phones, is the weapon of mass distraction, when it really should be utilized as a weapon of mass intention. So again, just being very purposeful of when you use that cell phone. And I love this one, it was so cute, is using your eyebrows. He has mad skills at his facial expressions that I couldn't even compete with. And you can tell that I'm always constantly talking with my hands and stuff. There's no way that I would be one of those people that could just sit there very quietly and stoic and not move my face. But yeah, use your eyebrows, be expressive, show that excitement, enthusiasm for what it is you're doing or what you're sharing with somebody. Another statistic that he shared with us was happily married couples make 30% more financially. I had never heard that one before, so I thought that was pretty cool. So here's the challenge that I want to extend to you all, which he extended to us, is that for the next 10 days, send out an audio or video text to at least one new person every day. And you will see, you will probably get more feedback in that kind of connection than you ever thought possible. Just make somebody's day. And then that third category is contribution. And of course, we all know what contribution is, but real contribution is generosity with your energy, your heart, and your soul. But it's also without the expectation of receiving anything in return. And I think that's something that is just really important, is knowing that when you're really giving of your heart and your soul, I mean, it just feels so good, right? But knowing that you won't necessarily be receiving anything in return. So that's contribution. And then he kind of tied that up with both control and challenge. And control, you know, he says that really is dependent on the energy and or motivation. There's a possibility of being too controlling, and there's a possibility of not having enough control. And I think it's just a matter of finding that balance in between. An example that he gave us was finances, you know, to really have control of that, but knowing that, I mean, well, I won't get into that, but he was just giving that as an example. And then challenge is that we need to architect the challenges in our lives instead of living a life of reacting, which I think is just a good reminder for everybody, right? It's just that we're not going to, you know, that we're in control of our life, which we've all heard, I think, is that we're going to run our day versus our day running us, which is why we time blocking and all that work and whatnot. But and then another challenge that he gave us was to set a monthly challenge. So every day, no matter how large that is, I mean, it could be a matter for me would be post better, right, Sybil? You know, or just doing those power posts. I know that that is not an area that I am really strong in. So that is a challenge that I'm going to set for myself again to be better at. And then I think that the last one-liner that I'd like to wrap up with is just stop waiting to live the life you deserve. And I think there was just so many powerful one-liners that he shared, you know, that are so impactful. And I think another thing that just really resonated with me is that, you know, here we were, there were many of us from Isogenics and from Trudy's team, Lindsay's team, Sybil. And what I found is that we are doing it right. This company that we belong to, we're doing it right, because there's so many other professions out there and these people that I spoke with that are so lost. And so to know that we're on a team that's just taking everyone on this magnificent ride of just positivity, we're giving back to our communities, and again, just being the best versions of ourselves that we possibly can be. So yeah, how am I doing? Wow. I thought I was going to be talking so fast I was going to flood you guys.
You're good. You're very good, Mary. I thought maybe these guys could ask a few questions if they have
sure.
a few for you.
Mm-hmm.
You're done with your material. We may as well open it up for the next 10 minutes on just some questions and different, you know, challenges that people face with the psychology that's involved in this, because I think that, you know, we all join this company thinking that it's going to be all about, you know, the physical part of this. And what we find out is that it's mostly about the psychology. So on that note, does anybody have any questions about that? You know, even if it goes into the physiology of it. Any questions? You can just unmute yourself and ask away.
Nice.
Anybody?
Suzanne.
Somebody?
Wow, there's no questions.
You were just so dang thorough.
Okay.
So do you guys find that to be really interesting, how much of a role the psychology plays, when quite honestly we thought that it was the physiology? What I've gone on to really figure out after going through this now twice, you know, all of these things matter, the pillars, but you may enroll for the physiology of this, and Mary, chime in anytime, but what I really found is that they all are intertwined. The physiology, the productivity, the presence, the purpose, the psychology, the people. Once one or two or three get into alignment, the rest really follow suit. So you often hear that people enroll in this company to lose a few pounds or to really impact their health. But in the meantime, so many of these things happen because of the personal development that is offered through this company, through the culture, which is the people piece, right? And which is, you know, the productivity, the financial piece. Like Mary told me today about beating her income from when she worked full time at a rat race pace, and she was able to actually pass her last year's income by $10,000. So this is real. I'm sorry, Mayor?
In half the time and only pockets of my time.
That's right. Really, really important fact. So maybe allude on, go into that a little bit more, Mary, when you found that out today and what that meant to you.
Okay, so what happened is I started in March of 2016, and one of the first things out of my mouth to Sybil was that I don't want to hear anything about the business because I'm not interested. Yeah, how many of you said that, right? But it was June 1st of last year that my mindset shifted. There was something I heard, there was something I saw that weekend. It was actually a Super Saturday event that Jill Berth, Sybil Imel, and Trudy Maples were all here for, and that shifted my mind. And as of June 1st of last year through December, when I went to do my taxes, which blew my mind, and I was literally just working it in pockets of my time. I was not full-time by any means. I wasn't posting even every day, but I was intentional about what I was doing and who I was talking to. And I made $10,000 more from June to December than I did all year working full-time for an architectural firm. So what that showed me is that when your mindset shifts and you really are intentional and committed, I think that is a big word. Don't be half-assed about it. Don't have one foot in. Jump in. Because if you can commit to 2 years, I promise you, if you commit 2 years to this, your life will be changed forever. Forever. If mine could do it in 4 months, it could happen.
Yeah. And the key term here is committed. Because Mary, she sat at Celebration as a manager and left Celebration as a director, and then went home, and within 30 days was an executive, and within 30 more days had also already promoted her first executive. So she's committed, she's intentional. This stuff doesn't just happen to her. One of the traits of Mary, though, is that because she was working another full-time job, she didn't have time to waste texting back and forth, waiting to hear an answer. She literally picked up the phone. When she sat in Celebration, they let us all out, and Mary needed one more person to become a director. And I said, well, reach out to that person. And she's like, reach out? I'm going to call her. She's my cousin. And I'm like, okay, the phone works. We totally forget that we have this way of asking a question and having it answered when we're actually on the phone, rather than having to send something and wait for a response. And we all love Marco Polo, and we love text, and we love Snapchat and all that fun stuff. But if you need to be deliberate and intentional and effective, wouldn't it be nice to actually have a conversation versus just reaching out? And really, I think we really hide behind text messages. And I see it with people that promise me that they want it. They want this business more than anything. If they have to have this business has to happen, or else something. But how many of them really and truly lock down into their office and don't leave until they do the enrollments that they were supposed to do, and to get the PIBs that are necessary so that they can have $600 that week rather than $400 because of PIBs? How many people really lock down? I mean, I know Mary did, and I know when you do it, you do it. You don't leave your office without whatever your goal was for that weekend. But it requires that you don't go to every soccer game. It requires that you probably are not going to shower. I mean, we've just been through all of this 20 and 30 stuff. But what else can you add to that, Mary? Because there really is something different about you specifically, that you just don't back down. You just don't settle. If you say it's going to happen, you're doing it.
I think, it was really reiterated at the Step Up to 2-Star 2 when Kathy Coover was standing in front of us, and we were talking about this very thing, is that too many people hide behind their keyboards, whether it be a keyboard or your keypad on your phone. I think it's going back to being present, and, being present, or, there's certain buzzwords that you hear a lot these days, and I think a lot of people like to use them, but do you actually put them into action? And I think for me, it drives me nutty. And the people on here that know me the best, when I'm receiving a text that I have to keep scrolling through, it's like, oh, hell no. Pick up the phone. Pick up the phone. If
It
you
took that longer to type it.
text me that long of a text, you can talk on the phone for 2 minutes.
You're so right.
And I think,
You're so right.
again, it's about being present. You know, just say, hey, you know what, to whoever you're talking to, I've got 2 minutes. And literally set the, you know, your alarm clock or whatever you need to with those people that tend to be a little more
Long-winded.
Yeah, so there's ways to get around that. But two, I think it's that personal connection, like, holy crap, she wasn't kidding. She is really my coach. She said she was going to call me, and she's calling me. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and two, you will, I say this to my team all the time, and I apologize for those of you that are on my team and on this call, but you have no idea what is going on in somebody else's day. And when you pick up that phone and just say, hey, Heather Greenhaw, I was thinking about you today. I just wanted to say hi. See that smile right there. So it's those kinds of things to know that what you say to somebody, man, oh my gosh, Tiffany, look at that little girl right there with you. How cute is she? You know, just those kinds of things to just uplift somebody's day, but be authentic, be genuine about what you're saying, because that's the business that we're in. We're in the business of offering hope to people. So if that means putting yourself out there and being a little vulnerable, do it. You'll grow from it, I promise.
Well, and that is all about the psychology, guys. And it really is the gift with purchase that we talk a lot about, is that you just had no idea what you stumbled upon when you got your box.
Right.
Mary almost shut it out by telling me no. And here she is, you know, doing the SWAT team call. So anyway, you guys, that is it. It's 6:30. Unless you have any other questions or comments, let's all unmute our lines and thank Mary for all of these amazing words of encouragement tonight to kind of help us understand. And we'll let you go and tell them.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you, Mary.
Thanks, Mary. Great job.
Mary. Awesome.
Thanks for joining, you guys.
Hi, Cindy.
Have a great night.
Thanks, Dan.
Love it.